There is a panic in Ruto's camp after Ndindi Nyoro revealed deep secrets and also threatened to call for a strike. Welcome to Kenya Lens, your channel that is clear window into Kenya's politics, current affairs, and breaking news. We bring you sharp analysis, reliable updates, and stories that matter, clearly explained and straight to the point. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our content. Now, Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro has threatened to mobilize parents to protest if the government does not release full first-term school fees and school capitation funds. Speaking to the press on Tuesday, January 6, 2026, Nyoro said that the government must release the money by mid-term to prevent disruption of schools. He warned that the current delay compromises school management and violates students' rights to free basic education under Kenyan law. Nyoro, a former Budget and Appropriations Committee chair, criticized the government claims that sufficient funds have already been released to school heads. He described the claims as inaccurate and said that it could lead to efforts to ensure proper funding is delivered on time. He added that parents cannot remain silent while learners' rights are being undermined, and therefore said that they are going to make it their obligation to make all stakeholders aware that the government is saying whatever the government is saying is not correct, that this term will closely monitor the government's behavior in sending money. Millions of students across Kenya are expected to resume learning this week, and the Minister of Education confirmed that 44.25 billion had been released to public basic education institutions for Term 1, 2026. The Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba said that 26 billion would support free day secondary education, 15 billion for free day junior school education, and 4 billion for free primary education. Ogamba urged school heads to use the funds responsibly and warned against charging parents unauthorized fees. He said that the government is committed to fulfilling its obligations under Article 53 of the Constitution, which guarantees every child free and compulsory basic education. Nyoro argues that the released funds are insufficient for smooth school operations. He claimed that delays or shortfalls force schools administrators to either cut essential services or rely on parents for extra fees, which violates the free education law. Experts note that inadequate funding can affect teachers' salaries, purchase of textbooks, and maintenance of facilities. He also stressed that the government communication on fund disbursement has been weak. Circulars specifying exact allocations and release schedules are delayed, creating confusion among school management committees. Nyoro says proper communication would prevent protests and ensure accountability. If the government fails to release funds, Nyoro warned that parents would organize demonstrations to demand action. His office plans to engage parent-teacher associations and other stakeholders to raise awareness about the funding gaps. Analysts note that parents' mobilization can be a powerful tool in Kenya, and during past funding disputes, coordinated parent protests have led to prompt government action. However, some warn that protests would disrupt learning if schools close temporarily or resources remain insufficient. Kenya introduced free primary education in 2003, followed by free secondary day schooling in 2008, as part of efforts to achieve universal access to education. Funding for these programs is provided through the national budget allocated to schools via capitation grants. Now, according to the Kenya Commission for Revenue Allocation, capitation covers operational costs including utilities, teaching materials, and administrative expenses. Despite these provisions, delays and underfunding have been recurrent. Reports by Human Rights Watch and the Kenya National Union of Teachers in 2022 highlighted that shortfalls in capitation grants often force schools to levy extra fees or suspend services, undermining the right to free basic education. The Minister of Education faces competing budget demands. The 2026 budget allocated billions for infrastructure, teacher recruitment, and learning materials, in addition to capitation funds. Economic pressures, revenue shortfalls, and inflation have strained these allocations, leading to partial releases or delays. Analysts say this may explain some of the government's claims of sufficient funds, while schools report shortages. Insufficient capitation funds affect learners in several ways. Schools may delay or reduce meals, postpone purchase of textbooks, limit teaching resources, and even struggle with basic maintenance. In extreme cases, some schools have asked parents to contribute, which can exclude vulnerable students and widen inequalities. Experts warn that repeated funding delays can hurt learning outcomes, attendance, and national literacy targets. And Nyoro's intervention highlights the tension between government financial management and the constitution mandate to provide free education. By raising awareness and threatening parent mobilization, he seeks to hold authorities accountable before issues escalate. The dispute over first-term capitation funds illustrates a wider challenge in Kenya's education system, ensuring timely and sufficient funding to guarantee free basic education. Failure to disburse funds not only hampers school management but also risks violating constitutional rights. Timely funding releases, clear communication, and accountability mechanisms are critical for the success of the free education programs. As students return to school this term, the government response to Nyoro's warning will be closely watched by parents, teachers, and education advocates. Effective resolution can strengthen trust in public institutions and protect learners' rights, while continued delays could lead to unrest and educational disruption. In essence, the capitation fund debate is not just about money. It reflects broader questions of governance, accountability, and state responsibility to ensure every child has access to quality education. That is all for today, and remember this: Kenya Lens, a channel that gives you a clear window into Kenya's politics, current affairs, and breaking news. We bring you sharp analysis, reliable updates, and stories that matter, clearly explained and straight to the point. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our content.